All right, and welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. Today, we're talking about an early gift for the Washington Commanders and looking at their playoff picture. And so, if you got a chance to look at Thursday Night Football, which was a very good game between the Lions and the Packers, that game was significant to the Washington Commanders because right now we're on a bye week here. And so, with the Lions beating the Packers, the Commanders at this point in time are just a single game back in the loss column from the Packers. And so that can be huge as far as making the playoffs. And it could be huge down the stretch because right now, the Commanders are the number 7 seed with the Packers being the 6th seed. And the significance here is that, yes, both teams would have to travel. But if you are the lower seed like the Washington Commanders, right now they would have to travel on the road to play the Lions or the Eagles. And if you are the 6th team, then right now, or the 6th seed, then you would have to play either the Falcons and the Bucks, who are tied at 6-6 in the NFC South, while the Seahawks are 7-5, lead the NFC West. And so, look, it is a chance here that the Washington Commanders can put themselves in a better position for the playoffs. And yes, we're talking about the playoffs, but we still have to finish strong here. But this is why every game matters. And this is why, a game like the Dallas Cowboy game, in which we let that get away from us, it's going to matter, right? And also to that Pittsburgh Steelers game. I think that both of those games were very winnable. They were right there for the Washington Commanders, especially that the Steelers game there. It was a late touchdown by Russell Wilson, really, that kind of got that game. But in any game, there's several different moments that lead to that. And so it just can't be the one play. But, there's always that moment in the game that people are going to look at. But anyway, the Washington Commanders hopefully can build upon this win that they had against the Titans. They need to get this win coming out of the bye week against the Saints. The great thing moving forward right now is that we are likely to get Marshawn Lattimore back. I think he was trending upward last week and very close. I think it is probably going to be the storyline of the game. He's going back to a place in which he's played his entire career until now. And so hopefully we get, a big impact from him in the secondary. I think that Mikey Samra has done a great job, and it continues to get momentum here. And so, these games are going to matter down the stretch because right now, when you look at the remaining schedule for both of these teams, the Packers have the Seahawks, they have the Saints, they have the Minnesota Vikings, and they have the Chicago Bears. I think that anytime that you're looking at divisional games, like the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears games, like those games are definitely going to be tough. It's always going to be tough when you're going out to Seattle playing against the 12th man. Like that's going to be tough. And I think that division that they have there in the NFC West has gotten tighter. And so, look, that is going to be a tough schedule down the stretch for the Packers. With the Commanders, look, again, these are some very winnable games, especially this Dallas Cowboy game. I think that this is a game that I certainly think that the Commanders can absolutely get. They should have had that game the first time around. They messed around, missing kicks and things like that. So I think that is a very winnable game. With the Atlanta Falcons, they are a very good team, and they do have Kirk Cousins, but it's just you don't know which team they are. Sometimes they're super locked in, and you see where Kirk Cousins is throwing a whole bunch of touchdown passes and things like that, and then you see the other end of the spectrum where Kirk Cousins is throwing 4 interceptions out there, and this team really struggles. And I think defensively, they're going to keep a team in it. They're not very good defensively. And so I think that this is a very winnable game. This is at home. When you look at it, and you're looking at the games, you have 2 away and then you have 2 home games here. And so I think that these are some winnable games when you look at the Atlanta game and then also to the Dallas Cowboy game. This New Orleans Saints game, this is a game where the Commanders are going to have to come out and they're going to have to take it seriously because even though the Saints have been struggling, they might be very well out of it as far as making the playoffs at this point in time. I think the injuries really hurt them. They still have, a very good running back that could gash the Commanders out there, even though I think that, hopefully this Commanders defense has really taken a step forward after this last week, but they still have that working for them. And then, with Carr, I think that with David Carr, he could still go out there and hurt you as well. I think that they have had some good performances in the pass game right now. And so hopefully the Washington Commanders get out there, they take that game seriously and take care of business. And so I would think that the Commanders can make a significant move as far as increasing their playoff seed. At least they have to win three of those four games down the stretch. And so we'll see what happens, because that Philadelphia Eagles game, even though we got beat on Thursday night, there were still some things that I did like about that game. And I do think that that game kind of got away from them. I mean, I think that if you could slow down Saquon Barkley, I think that this game becomes interesting, because even though the Philadelphia, Eagles are probably trending towards winning this division, I know it's not over just yet, but they still get off to slow starts and they still leave the door open for you. And so I think that, now the Commanders, we can see what happens. They are coming to, Washington. Obviously, that is going to be a home game. So I think that that is one of the games that you absolutely have to circle, because you might very well finish in that seventh seed and you have to travel to play the Philadelphia Eagles. And I tell you what, between the Lions and the Eagles, I do like the Washington Commanders' chance to figure out a way to beat the Eagles. In fact, it is very hard to beat a team three times. I'm thinking of the New York Giants when they went on to, I think, win the Super Bowl against a very good Patriots team. When they had played that team earlier in the year, like, it's tougher as you play a team and then you try to win again. And again, it gets a little bit tougher. So I think the Washington Commanders have a chance here. So anyway, let me know in the comments about this early Christmas gift with the Washington Commanders. Do you feel like, yes, it is a plus? And it is something that the Washington Commanders can do. They can climb up the standings. They perhaps can increase their seed, and it's going to be a better situation for them. Do you think the Washington Commanders, yes, they do need to get a situation where they can go against a favorable team? I'd love to know what your thoughts are in the comments. Make sure that you go ahead and press that like and subscribe button. And remember, this is a bye week for the Washington Commanders. And as we go back and look one more time at that schedule, you're seeing that, yes, they travel to New Orleans, and then they're going to come back and play the Philadelphia Eagles at home. They have the Atlanta Falcons, and then they travel to the Dallas Cowboys. And so that is one thing that the Washington Commanders have had an advantage on this year, is just really the travel. The travel has been very good, I think, for the Washington Commanders, in a situation in which it's really worked out for this team, especially a team that, really had a lot of turnover with free agencies and things like that. And a team that, is led by this young quarterback who's done a terrific job. I think that it has been great, whoever put the schedule out there for the Washington Commanders, that they did not have to do a whole bunch of wild traveling here. And so I think that that's worked out for the Commanders. But anyhow, this is Washington Commanders Insider, guys. Make sure that you check on the channel and check back with us, as we're talking nothing but Washington Commanders football on this channel. And so hopefully we start to do a little bit more of a breakdown on the Saints here tomorrow. I think that that is up on deck, I think, for this channel. So anyway, I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.